Hello Dotsama family! Today we'll be discussing identity related to Web3 and the blockchain. To have a good picture of identity on Web3 and the blockchain, Litentry, a project that collects all your historical cross-chain data, including credit and reputation, and aggregates them into a single identity profile will be the case study. The distributed identity verification network provides real-time identity aggregation and credit calculation services. As we are gradually moving from the current Web2 Internet to the Web3 era, various applications are being built to adapt to the future of the Internet. Web3 promises greater control and more privacy while using the web or the Internet. Therefore, instead of the contemporary KYC decentralized identity is a better identity approach for Web3. While KYC allows users to verify their identity managed by the legacy system, Decentralized Identity, also called DID, allows individuals to own and control their identity without the compromise of the legacy systems. Suppose finance or various other protocols are to operate freely on one of the key elements of Web3, the blockchain. In that case, there is a need for such protocols to trust the users are well-behaved and not malicious one. Litentry, the network, was created in response to this need. Litentry is a decentralized cross-chain identity aggregator built on the substrate. It enables users to link their identities across multiple networks, including that off-chain in real time, and get a rating. The network creates an identity for users via their data footprint while keeping them anonymous. This identity, given as the aggregate identity score, can thus be used in DeFi platforms, on-chain governance, airdrop or IDO whitelist, and other scenarios. Increasing the user's trust index opens them up to more significant opportunities in DeFi world, loyalty rewards, etc. Today we had the founder of Litentry who would be glad to answer some questions about Litentry. Lately, Litentry has won Polkadot Parachains slot. Welcome, Hanwen. My first question to you is a personal one. How did you come up with an idea to found a startup in decentralized identity and hence Litentry?
I am a software engineer, and I used to work in the software industry before. And when I use the web application like Chrome, like the web browser to browse the different websites, or use the applications, I always find that my data, my personal data is trapped. So I want to have something like, when I browse the website, right, I see the ads, and the ads just like using my data. So I want to find a way that to let the user to control the data itself. So I think a lot, I think since 2015 or 2016, I started thinking about the idea how to get the data back to the user. And then I find the blockchain. I think this is very promising technology. At that time, I was checking the Ethereum and then getting into the industry and to try different blockchains. But it's still limited because at that time, there's already a decentralized identity project coming out. But the problem is that the data is only used in a certain network. It cannot be used across multiple networks. So that means even user control his own data, the data only has limited usage. And after that, I was checking about the multi-chain solutions like Polkadot and Cosmos. And then I finally decided to use the substrate, that is the tools behind Polkadot, to build a new network. And this network trying to aggregate all the identity into all. And for example, I gain the control over my accounts, over Ethereum, over Polkadot, over Binance Smart Chain, so that the context of the account is greatly increased, so that at the same I can gain the adoption of this account while I still get control of all my data. And this is the idea which the aggregated identity protocol comes from, and this is the Litentry.
I've talked briefly about the network, however, we still need to hear from you. Tell us about the Litentry network briefly and how it works.
Yeah, so Litentry network is you can regarding it as we always go to the notary, you can regarding it as two paths. One path is that this is your personal privacy, like this security box, and you link all your accounts into one, right? You maintain an identity graph for yourself, and this identity graph could give a lot of context for you, right? So it has to be privately saved there, and this is one part of Litentry. Another part is that, as I mentioned, notary. You can regarding it as a decentralized notary. So it is a notary could provide you any kinds of proofs in a decentralized way. That means our network analyzes your privacy data in this security box, and then give an attestation or give a proof of your information to the third party, and all the third party could verify it. For example, I can prove that I'm a governance participant in both the Polkadot and Ethereum network. So I just give the request from my Litentry account to the Litentry network, and the network can analyze my related accounts in Polkadot and in Ethereum, and to analyze it, and finally give this proof to the other side. So I can, and later further, I can handle this proof, this attestation to any third party. For example, I can give some, I can increase my credibility, can gain my some reputation with this kind of proof. I mean, the usage is by users' imagination. You can do anything with it.
There are several DID networks out there. Why should users choose Litentry? What makes it stand out among the several projects in the same niche?
So both the idea, the Litentry network is service for a specific purpose, right? As we see here, like we aggregate the identity data, and we give out the proofs. A very important points for like the usage for this, or features for this network, is a privacy preserving feature. So all the data saved here are protected by network, especially by TD sidechain, which we are building. It's very specific in the industry. And the other things that we provide the specific proof or verifiable credential by the network itself. So if we look back at the industry, there's multiple related, let's say, identity protocols. But they are all based on a certain identity, right? If you want to link different identities, then the identity must be public somehow, because it's on blockchain. Blockchain is all public, so it's a problem. And then if you want to save it in a safe place, for example, if you want to use zero knowledge proof to save it, then how you provide such a proof? That's going to be a problem. And then you want to make this proof as simple, like as a smart contract. You could, you could generate an algorithm to create a credential. So it's also very hard. So there's also, I see there's also different parties, like the networks, they are aiming to provide this verifiable credential, but the problem is that the credential is always public. So by Litentry protocol, we solve the both problem by the innovative TE sidechain. So first of all, we save all the users' information as identity. We call it the identity graph into this TE sidechain, the security box, and then we also use the generate this proof, this verifiable credential into this TE sidechain. Now all the things we do are privacy preserving. So this is something we are different, and also because this technology is still no one's building it, so it takes us a while from the beginning to the beginning to now, because now we just onboard on Polkadot and we're starting to roll out our products, so it's taking really a long time now.
Creating aggregate identity scores for users is great. What is the likelihood that a bad actor will reverse engineer your encryption mechanism, reveal users through identity and holdings, and then use it negatively?
It's very hard to reverse engineering this score, right? Because for example, when we think about the anti-fraud feature for the scores, like the Google is providing these scores by like for example by checking reCAPTCHA, right, by the human to check different boxes to see which is the correct one, right? This is a way to check that. And in the blockchain side, that what we are doing that we based on users' activity, the real activity on chain. So only the real activities on chain are recorded here. So the decentralized, let's say the decentralized validator, they go into different the data provider, for example, the Infura, for example, Etherscan, and for example, on Polkadot ecosystem, there are Subscan, right? There's the different data provider. They go to this data provider to check if the users have did this behavior, have did this transaction on chain. And the transaction itself, they compose about the score, right? And then also the score, this is on the origin side, on the data side. So we check different data origin. And then on the blockchain side, the validators picked from the centralized network. They are making the consensus, which is greatly different from a centralized services and different from a single node. And we use different node to produce this, to make consensus on the result, on the score. And only when they all agreed on the certain scores, and they give out the score as a encrypted data, and so user can get the data. But if you when you're saying that like reverse engineering, I can think of that the people they know the algorithm is right, because the algorithm is completely public, and they find a way how to cheat the system and to do, for example, to intentionally do some specific transaction, for example, like voting. It's like doing multiple votings on different networks. This cost may cost lower, right? But the good thing is that our decentralized networks is also based on the governance. So if the user, let's say the community, find that there's a problem, that some people can cheat the system and to do some malicious behaviors, and then we could submit some can upgrade this algorithm, let's say the smart contract, with certain features. For example, filter the duplicated voting, or let's say to reduce the score, like for hundreds of voting, and it could improve the scoring algorithm. For example, use quadratic scoring method to replace the linear scoring method. So one important part for our system is it also governed by the community. So we can gradually evolve to improve the algorithm or improve the system, the network.
Thanks for clarifying that. Litentry is partnering with a lot of platforms. Your collaboration with Bifrost, Equilibrium, Parallel, Fearless Wallet, KuCoin, and Kraken is designed to raise a crowd loan for entry into the Parachain auction. Congratulations on the slot on Polkadot. What moves do you have in mind for the Litentry network?
We are building, currently we are all maintaining the relationship or exploring relationship in Polkadot ecosystem, but at the same time, from the beginning, we are called a multi-chain identity aggregation protocol. And we also want to be leveraged by a multi-chain world, by different blockchains, right? And the protocol itself is chain agnostic, so we can be compatible with different blockchains. So we are looking forward to talk to some specific chain and to improve our features and to get to connected to more chains, because once we have more chain and we get more context for user, so user can use the aggregator identity for like for bigger usage, for different multiple users. So for the next move, I think in the collaboration level, we will talk to different blockchains, for example, Binance Smart Chain, for example, Solana, so for example, NIA, to exploring the identity score, the usage of identity score in governance, in DeFi, for example, in staking, and in the community management, to issuing the base or to the community members. Technically, there's also lots of stuff we're going to do. For example, our Parachain Polkadot going to be launched in June. So we will gradually onboard our features here. For example, first there will be the identity linking feature, so which enable user to create this aggregated identity, and then to onboard this VC generation, by VC I mean verifiable credential, this VC generation process on the blockchain. And of course, there's more features like staking as collateral, and many exciting things need to be onboarded here, and also NFT related features. So busy time.
That's great to know. You indeed have so many plans on the ground. Most protocols are moving towards DAO governance mechanism. What plans do you have concerning that? If you do, would the lead token be the governance token?
On the governance side, so the main idea is we want to prevent the capitalism, because in governance, because in most of the blockchains, your voting power are decided by the tokens you staked here, either by the amount of the staked token or by the staking time of these tokens, right? So we want somehow to involve some more factors in deciding the voting power. This is also the things like I experience in different DAOs, right? Because for people who contributed, there's also people like in some off-DAO, for example, in some off-chain DAO or in some on-chain DAO, there's some people do not hold much of token because they are later joiner, right? But we still make a lot of contribution. For example, the organize the group, for example, the making proposals to the group. These things are not presented by the token. So we also want to add these factors into the governance scope. So what we want is that in the future we may to generate some new scores, but not only based on the staked token, but also based on the activities the user has to. For example, finally we may generate a G-lead token, and this G-lead token is decided by both the staking token and also by the on-chain transactions. For example, each of time of your vote will count for 2 G-lead tokens. But of course, this is all the examples and the very preliminary idea. We haven't decided on the final product yet. But this is the way. But the idea is that we will use a verifiable credential to present users' voting score. And this voting score could be used in the governance activities.
Thanks for answering that. I'm sure the community has been waiting to know. What incentives do you have for users to come to your platform? What plans do you have to encourage or drive mass adoption of this protocol?
This is a good question. I think in Polkadot ecosystem is that the Parachains on Polkadot is we call it application chain, or we call it the service chain. It serves for a specific purpose, right? It's not like it's a layer 1 blockchain, but it's not like the traditional layer 1 blockchain. Because for example, for Avalanche, for Solana, for NIA, this layer 1 blockchains, they want user to be onboarded here, because it's totally a different network, it's totally different ecosystem. But for us, we want to be a service that behind the different use cases. For example, this score can power the airdrop actions on Ethereum. This, for example, our score can empower user to calculate the governance score in, for example, NIA. So we want to be something behind the scene, so users do not have the feeling that they are using the Litentry services, but of course, all the token they pay finally are swapped to the Lit token and paid on Litentry network. Because this is thanks to the features of cross-chain messenger protocol on Polkadot. So we can achieve that by any blockchain. They can all connect to us, and we provide these fundamental services to behind. So we of course want the Lit to be more used, but we of course also want it to be to make user have less attention when using it. But of course, we also have the front end application, which is which is MyCrypto profile, and this is a profile management tool in the front end. So the user could, it's like a one-stop shop. So user here can see his all identity informations from the network. He could see his all the verifiable credentials. Probably he could also apply to some airdrop here, because as he see a list of the illegal airdrops from there. So we also built the here I mentioned about airdrop, because the airdrop is very good scenario to use this score, to let user to start this journey, to start this score. So we also built the front end the app application, decentralized application called Drop3. So user could apply their airdrops with their identity data here. And on the backend side, we also we have a team which is building on the data, and it's called Litentry Graph Team, and probably we will rename it to something more related to the protocol. So it's index all the identity data from different blockchains, and it serves a very common API interface to the outside. So the outside could be able to use it, for example, our network, the validators will easily use it to fetch the user's data. And this could also empower other products or other blockchain teams to getting data or to analysis the data, because currently data is very important for the whole network, right? There's data coming from it's growing every day from different networks. So you can see as a whole, we have front end side, we have network behind, and on the back end side, we also have data. So the front end side is to talk to the user, on the network side is talking to the different partners, and the data side is served for our networks. This identity protocol is not it's not as easy as a smart contract. We have to think about the whole industry, how to make it be used for the whole industry. So that's why we are building so many different products. Now we also see the problem coming from the previous identity protocol. So we really want to make something new and make something useful this time for the industry.
This is great. With this in mind, I'm sure investors would be pouring right into the network. Several of your products are still being developed. What are the challenges you face in bringing these projects fully to life? Do you have any new products you are working on?
So this is a challenge. This is a big challenge because we are a small team, right? We started growing just from last year. For 1 year, we grow from 10 people to almost 50 people as far. And but we still have lots of products. We have 6 to 7 products in development at the same time. So one challenge is that how do we integrate all the products and to promote the Litentry protocol as a whole. So as I already talked, there's Drop3, right? There's on the front end, there's Drop3, there's a MyCrypto profile, and we also have a governance app which will facilitate all the governance activities in Polkadot. This is also funded by Polkadot Treasury, and you're interested in it, later you can also download it in the Play Store. Currently it's called Litentry app, but we're gonna rename it to make it more related to the governance. And yeah, in the network, we also have of course, we have the Parachain team, and on the backend side, we have Litentry Graph, and we just spin off a new product team, which called Web3 Go. It serves a lot of data for the Polkadot ecosystem. It's already being widely used in the ecosystem. For example, it provides specific staking information. In the future, it might gonna also offering the specific information in governance, so it can further compose users' governance score, right? And we also have something like interesting, the aggregator. This is this team works on the advertisement based on the users' personal profiles. It's just to get the Web3 Foundation's grant, but it's still in the early stage. If you are interested, you can also check the Polkadot Web3 Foundation's grant list of the project. But we already have lots of stuff to working on, so it is a big challenge at the moment. It also postponed somehow the delivery time of the team. But now we are focused mainly on the Parachain and the front end side, which is my crypto profile. We want in the next 2 to 3 months, we deliver these two cool products so user can easily use it to, for example, to generate his aggregated identity or to generate a usable, verifiable credential by our network. And by this, I say the decentralized verifiable credential.
Great. We hope you overcome these many challenges and come out better at the other end. I'm sure users are waiting eagerly to use all these platforms. And finally, what are the plans for Litentry? Do you have any projects lined up for the long term? And how do you plan to keep holding the attention of Litentry users?
Firstly, we still want to achieve our promise. We want to deliver the whole product, the data side, the network side, the front end side, and this is top priorities, right? And secondly, I think in the long term, finally the project should be governed by the community. And as I already said, the algorithm need to be evolved by the community. The governance need to be like supported by the community. So I think this is should be the long-term goal, and we still have a long way to go here. We have to deliver all the stuff and to get the community member more involved into the project, because previously we do not have our mainnet launch. Now we already have the Dotsama mainnet launch. I think the community can already start to do something here, but we are just in the beginning to onboarding the stuffs. Like for the last year, we already prepared a lot. And in this year, it's going to be the time we realize these promises to the community. And further, we talk to the even longer time. We really want to build, because I think the good thing is that we build a very compatible company with lots of talented engineers, talented product managers, and I hope in the future we could build more Web3 components, and for both Litentry and for all Litentry's products, we want to help the industry, contribute to the industry. We want the Web3 to be to take over the internet, and want every user to take the control back of their data.
Hanwen, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today and answering all these questions. We sure look forward to another meetings like this soon for more clarifications on further products and partnerships that must have occurred by then.
Yeah, also thank you very much for giving this chance to talk about Litentry for such a long time, right? And I hope all the communities could keep eyeing the Polkadot ecosystem, Litentry, and also PromoTeam, so we could in the future to see this going to be a very these 2 years going to be very exciting year for the whole industry, as the traditional finance is going to another direction. So let's like stick long to the Web3, and let's see what's gonna happen. Yeah.